Hello subscribers, potential subscribers, visitors, whatever you may be. This is a video, kind of an orientation video. I'm here on the main screen. You know, you can always click at the top of the screen here on the TA Today logo, and that will bring you to the front page if you're somewhere else. There's also a home button that you could click. But essentially what I want to do is quickly give you a view of what's in the TA Today tools set, both in terms of services and in terms of tools, and to give you an overview and orientation about the site. There's kind of three main areas. There's the tools, there's the trade with LA, and there's retirement services. Now if you're not logged in, you know, you're going to see a subset of these. If you're logged in, then you of course see everything. And what I mean by logged in is you're a subscriber, which means you're you know, there's three levels. There's a visitor, there's registration, which gives you a little bit more capability, and then there's a subscriber where you actually pay a fee and you get access to most everything. In terms of those three things, the tools are the tools for you to trade with. The Trade with LA is a service, and the retirement service, of course, is a service too. This is for long-term investors. This is for medium to short-term investments. And this is for you to do whatever you want with in terms of research and practical trading setups, you know, that you can find on your own, monitor on your own, and so forth. I want to quickly go over each of those in a very kind of an overbrush, you know, broad brush view, and give you an idea of what they are. Let's start with the tools themselves. So if you're a subscriber, you're registered, and you're in here, you have access to about six different tools, I guess. The first thing to point out is there's Tools Help. If you click on Tools Help, and these are all hover driven, so in other words, if you just hover over it, you'll get things, and if there's anything under it, it will pop out over here. These help are associated with each of the tools that are there. You can pop into any of them, like if I go into the Chart Help screen and I click on it, then I'm going to see those articles that are out there. There's some help, there's some legends and explanations. There's, you know, the trend transitions when there's no left side chart. That's what, you know, some questions that people have asked. And so we just make, you know, some help screens here to help you out with any questions you may have regarding the tool, the site. And so if I pop back up to the top, go to that pop down menu. If we look at each of these real quick, the TA Today charts, of course, are the charts themselves. You can put in a symbol, and if you put in a symbol, then it's going to bring up that chart, and it's going to default to the daily time frame. The charts, of course, are the Neo charts, so they're going to show you anchored resistance zones and support zones, which is essentially supply and demand. And they're going to show you, you know, trend transitions, which are these arrows. They're going to show you the swing points where trend transitions will occur if they happen to take place. You're going to see the volume, of course, highlighted in red and blue, black. And you know, essentially you're going to get a view from a neoclassical perspective of where this stands. Now there are daily, weekly, and monthly. You can just pop to the other one. Of course, you got to put the symbol back in. Actually, we had it, so then you would see it on a weekly view. Now the nice thing about the TA Today charts is if you go to, say, a watch list, and there's two types of watch lists. There's your private ones that are here, and then there's ones that are shared from other people, including me. When you're logged in, you'll see my shared ones. Of course, when I'm logged in, you know, mine are all available to me. If I just pop into one of these, and let me just go, I'll just go to major sectors, and I'll pop up, say, the IBB. Now that actually, not only did it pop up this particular screen, it also popped up a weekly screen. It popped up a monthly, right, the chart on the monthly, and it also popped up the trading cube. And I'll get to this in a minute, the trading cube, but essentially all of these popped up across the screen that I'm looking at, which most of them are off the screen, so you don't see them. Now the reason they're off the screen is because you have the ability at TA Today, and let me pop back into the main screen here, you have the ability, if you want, to come over and set your preferences. And rather than do it the hard way, we'll do it the easy way, and that is that if I come into a watch list, and if I click on Show All Charts, it will give me a little you know, control list I can take these charts that I have laid across my screen, and you can do the same. You can put them wherever you want. And then once you organize them where you want, you click the Save Current Screen Locations, and then that chart, next time you log in, anytime you push on a symbol, and matter of fact, let me just bring this back. Anytime you push on a symbol like this, it's going to pop up all 4 of those charts wherever you saved them at, which is a very nice, convenient feature. So that's the charting process, or the package. There's the trading cube itself. We showed that just a second ago, but I'll pop into it here individually. I'll bring Alcoa back up. And if I do the trading cube, there's like 3 main things. The trading cube essentially tells you, what are the time frames, what's the trend, which are these blue and red, green and red, and you can change these colors if you want. What is the trend of the sector, the general market, the sector, and the stock, which are all important. If you've read my books, you understand that. And it also, if you click on one of these, it will pop up the mean time to failure, the cumulative mean time to failure of that trend. So in other words, before this trend gets really overblown, it's about 38 bars. Right now we're at 6.1, which means we're sitting at 6 bars. So this can go 32 more bars, and because we're looking at the daily time frames, that's 32 days. So that's another 5 weeks or so. And so you can kind of get a feel for, how far can this thing go before it's really stretched. And so that's kind of the trading cube. If we go back up here and look at some of these other, stock monitor, which is a nice feature. This will take any of your watch list, highlight any kind of activity that's taking place. And if you've read my books, there's only 2 types of trades. There's breakouts and retraces. And so this thing looks at breakouts and retraces, and it does it for anything that you have on any watch list that you have. And again, it will give you what those signals are. And it doesn't have to be 80%, which is what the trading signals does. It will give it to you on a very granular level. Anytime it's close to a retrace and it triggers an alert, irrespective of all the other characteristics that I use for trading signals, it will alert you. So it's almost like setting an alarm all the time, except for it's a roaming alarm that roams with price for you. You don't have to reset it. It will do itself. Trading signals, which is a takeoff of that same screen we just looked at. This thing actually gives you all the trading signals that are generated across all sectors, all stocks, all markets, in all those markets that we cover around the world. And so this thing will give you those breakouts. You can look at them and you can see what they are, and what is breakouts and retraces, and it's essentially saying that this particular stock is in a bearish breakout. You can see how it just broke out. It has the potential to be great. In other words, it has the potential to go down a long way, and of course you'd want to look at that, look at it across the multiple time frames, and decide if that's a trade you might want to make. And so it brings the trades to you on a daily basis. Looking at the rest of the tools, there's a couple of research tools with the sector trends, with the trading scanner. You can learn more about those in the tools. If I go back up to Trade with LA, there's 2 main things here. There's the portfolio itself, and there's the communications I do with you. If I look at the portfolio, morning comments, every morning I give you the comments of what happened the day before, what are the important things that I see, a recap, what are the important things I see right now, what do the world markets look like, what's the economics, what's my bottom line coming into the day, and the portfolios themselves, thoughts I have about them, and if there's new orders, they would appear here. And so that's the trading comments that come out each morning. It's called morning comments. There's actually the portfolio itself, which will show you the positions that we're in. It's color coded. You can quickly look at this and decide if there's something else you might need to do today to change. So anything in blue is going to tell you a change happened from yesterday. I do that on a morning basis before the market opens. I do it after the market closes. I also show you all the closed positions we have for the current month. And then there's also, if you want, there's also the statistics associated with performance over time. All of these are hot links to those monthly views. If you click them, you can go back and see all the trades that took place on that time frame. If we go down a little bit farther, and go back to portfolio. There's the performance we just did, the archives. So all these comments are archived. You can go back and read them. And then there's spreadsheet archives. So in other words, every time we post one of these on a daily basis, then we take those and we rotate them. And if I come back here to the, let me grab the spreadsheet archives. We take and archive those, for like a month or two, and we just lay them out there, usually about a month at a time. And you can go back and review yesterday's. So say you have a vacation, you can come back and see what changed on a day-by-day view for the last month. And so all those tools available to you, Trade with LA. On the communication side, there's something we call the TNT room. In here, it's a chat room. There's a bunch of members in here during the day. All the chatting that takes place that day is located here. You can actually see that. I throw out trades there that I see during the day that I'm making. A lot of them are just day trades, or a couple day trades. And other members do the same thing. And I also answer questions and highlight things that I'm seeing. There's an evening broadcast you can click in, you can watch. Morning broadcast where I tell you what it looks like that morning. That kind of ties into the TNT. It's kind of a daily thing. The weekend broadcast where I review what happened that whole week. And these are archived too. And you can pop in and look at anything that's happened over the last week, on any week, and you can see what I'm thinking in terms of the bigger picture. What are we doing? What's happening to this market? What's driving this market? As either another thing is available is the video library. These are videos that I've created on things that members have asked, and they've said, hey, what is portfolio theory and management? What's your take on it? How do you alter your trading plan? How do you alter your stops? So forth, right? Any of these that have links, you can pop into them, and there is a video with my take about that subject matter there for you. Finally, the retirement service has to do with long-term investors. Let's say you have an IRA, you don't really want to trade, you don't want to learn how to trade, you just want to know when to be in the market, when to be out. And because the market typically, if we go back here, because the market typically goes up most of the time, that's usually the way the market goes, you just want to know when to stay in the market and when to get out. You don't want to take the huge drawdown, but you want to hang around most of the time. This uses those principles I developed that look at the structure of the market and tell you when the risk is greater and you really should minimize your risk versus when the risk isn't there. In other words, we don't have the potential for a huge drawdown. In that case, let's just stay in the market. And that's what this service does. There's some portfolios available. It's a very cost-effective way for you to manage your IRA, your 401k, your retirement. Those are the services, those are the tools. They're available to you at a reasonable price. To find out about it, you just click on our tools, click on Trade with LA, or click on Get Started. And if you want to find out about the retirement service itself, just click on the retirement service and follow some of these links and look at them. That's a quick overview. Hopefully that helps. Nice orientation. And until next time, I'm LA, and that is the wrap, so to speak. Thanks. Bye.